The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Radio Debang, a Mike Kahn presentation.
This is the Chris Heasley Show. Coming to you from Radio Debang, the North America's premier broadcasting network. A Mike Kahn presentation.
Hello, this is Chris Heasley with the Chris Heasley Radio Show, and we are in the critical time of Republican primary runoffs. We're going to cover all of the pertinent issues that are affecting these runoffs in both Fort Bend counties and in Harris counties. We'll bring you all the relevant issues for these Republican primary runoffs on tonight's show. And our guests that we have here to discuss these issues are Warren Howell, who is a Republican candidate for Harris County Judge. And he's in a critical runoff right now. And we have Adam Schoof, Precinct 4 candidate in the Republican primary runoff.
Yes, for County Commissioner in Fort Bend.
Great. Well, thank you both for being here tonight. I want to first jump to Fort Bend County. And there has been quite the drama in Fort Bend as of the past day or so. And Adam, maybe you can talk about this, but the county commissioner's court had proposed to take a large number of their staff on a trip to Hawaii for quote unquote business purposes. And it's not going over too well in Fort Bend County. Our budgets are exploding. Our debt is exploding. And yet our county finds it necessary to send county staff to the beautiful tropical island of Hawaii for a business trip. Adam, can you tell me about this?
Well, Chris, one of my key points is Fort Bend County has a massive spending issue, and one of my plans, if I get elected, is I'm going to reduce frivolous government spending. I cannot stand frivolous government spending. My goal is to eventually lower the tax rate for Fort Bend County, and going on vacations. That's frivolous government spending. Our tax dollars should not be funding vacations to Hawaii, let alone really anywhere. I've been a government employee my entire adult life. I can attest I've never been paid by the government to go on vacation to Hawaii or anywhere that was not work necessity. And this is the thing, is we're dealing with people's money, other people's money. As a government employee, as an elected official, I work for the people. I work for the citizens. I work for the taxpayer, and I'm there to be a steward of the taxpayer's money and not frivolously spend it and use it for my own benefit, gain, or enjoyment.
Right. Well, so let's move to the schools in Fort Bend Independent School District. As I understand it, there are a number of schools being proposed for closure.
Yes, the board, which I've sat on for the last 2 years, the board voted to close 7 schools. I was the sole vote against all of the closures, and the citing for the reasons of closing the school was budgetary. However, we get roughly a $10,400 allotment per student from the state, and it was pitched to us that closing these 7 schools would save us about $7 to $7.5 million a year, which comes out to 1% or 2% of our overall budget of $904 million a year. And they were planning to use that savings to chip away at our $40 million deficit. Now, the problem with that is
at the ISD's
deficit. The problem with that is I'd say that there's roughly 700 to 800 families that are going to be pulling their students out of the district. Now, once you add that or multiply that by the $10,400 allotment, that comes out to being a loss, a net loss or a wash even. And the citizens and parents that I've spoken to, nobody is happy about this. Nobody is happy about this, and it was pitched to us on the board in a way that there were no other options. Well, I don't believe that. And the the amount of upset parents, I believe that they're going to pull their students out of the district. And now with school choice, that tax money follows the student to wherever they go. So that was the legislator looking at situations like this and going, no, ISDs, we want you to be held accountable, and the only way to hold you accountable is when you make families and parents so upset they pull their students out of the district that now you lose money. And that's what's happening right now.
It just seems like in Fort Bend County, we sort of don't have our priorities straight. It seems like the things that are necessary are getting cut. Things that are not necessary are sort of getting expanded. I'd like to move to another story in Fort Bend. This is just breaking in the past day. And this is a federal judge fines for citizen journalists against the sheriff's office and awards him $70,000. Another embarrassment coming from our police authorities in Fort Bend County. A federal judge awarded $70,000 in damages after ruling Fort Bend County Sheriff Eric Fagan violated the rights of citizen journalist Justin Pullum, finding qualified immunity did not apply. The judge further awarded attorney fees for his defense. In a criminal trial, Fort Bend District Attorney Brian Middleton brought against Pulliam that resulted in a mistrial after one juror held out for a conviction on a 5-1 for acquittal. The criminal charges were later dismissed by Middleton. So this is a what do we call him?
First Amendment auditor. Now, I have been a law enforcement officer for 16 years, and I've encountered a number of First Amendment auditors, and essentially what they do is they exercise the First Amendment right of freedom of press. So a lot of times they'll enter government-owned buildings or public areas, public buildings with camera equipment and just stand there and start filming, or even walk into a police station for that matter and film the interaction of filing open records request or trying to interview a law enforcement officer. And it is their constitutional right to do so, to include walking on sidewalks. I am a constitutionalist, so I believe in this right. It is our right to film and record. There's no expectation of privacy in public. There are very few places anymore in the United States that you can be in public without being on some form of a camera, whether it's a surveillance camera. Anytime you interact with law enforcement officers are going to be recording you, and you have the right to do the same. And so what this particular gentleman would do is he would film traffic stops, film his interactions with law enforcement, and some law enforcement officers believe situations like that the gentleman is trying to bait law enforcement into a response and have it caught on camera and set themselves up for civil litigation, just like what happened here. But a lot of folks, if you just search First Amendment audit on YouTube, you'll see these types of interactions. But it was his constitutional right to film law enforcement.
Well, I mean, all entities and organizations typically are audited, and these First Amendment auditors do the same for our policing authorities. They ensure that our policing authorities are staying in line with the law. And as I understand it, Justin Pulliam sort of specializes on Fort Bend County, and I believe that he's become somewhat of an irritant to the Fort Bend County policing authorities. And really, this is emotions gone wrong and another huge embarrassment to the police authorities in Fort Bend County. And I'm referring to the sheriff's office run under Eric Fagan and the district attorney's office run under Brian Middleton, because essentially, I believe he was policing these authorities. He was auditing. He was watching, surveying these authorities as they were doing a pullover, and they got upset. They arrested him. Well, at any point in time, those police authorities can just dismiss it. They can just, we made a mistake here, and it goes away, as I understand it. But they didn't. They doubled down on their mistake, and they went for, they arrested him. And then Brian Middleton jumps in with criminal charges. And it's so absurd, these criminal charges, that the judge threw it out. that it went to a jury trial, and I believe five people were for acquitting this person. One person held out for a conviction. So it's as if pretty much everyone sort of sees that this Justin Pulliam is in the right, yet our police authorities in Fort Bend County have an axe to grind, and it's just a muscle move. It's just them flexing their muscles, and it's another embarrassment. And by the way, it cost the county $70,000. $70,000.
And Chris, there's a common belief among these auditors, and they're not entirely wrong. If we don't exercise our rights, we lose them. And who's to say if the general public isn't used to or doesn't understand what these folks are doing? Who's to say that jury 10 years down the road wouldn't have been 2 people against it, and then 3 people, and then now you've got this case that a constitutionally protected act has been diminished by a jury in a district court, and now that citizen, that suspect, so to speak, has to now appeal it to the appellate court, spend more money in order to get a constitutionally accurate verdict.
But I mean, there's the financial consequences to the county, which are really, really harmful. But the bigger point is that a private citizen had to undergo this process. He was treated like a criminal for weeks or months for no reason at all. Why don't we have some sober thinking within our police departments in Fort Bend County?
Well, nationally, we had a shift of government officials forgetting their roots and forgetting that, no, we do work for the public. If I'm elected, if a First Amendment auditor walks into the Precinct 4 County Commissioner's office, I'm going to be as transparent as possible. Come on in. I've done it with auditors as a law enforcement officer. Come on in. Let me give you a tour of the police station. There's nothing here that I'm hiding from you. There's nothing, yes, there are operational things that I can't show you that are, for pending cases or whatnot, or people's privacy. But outside of that, every piece of paper that we have as government employees and elected officials is subject to open records request. It's the people's paper. It's the people's documents anyway. Every person has the right to view the documents that I sign as an elected official or as a law enforcement officer. And just like they have the right to film me, and as an elected official and anybody who holds office or is a law enforcement officer or seeking office, my advice to them is treat every interaction you have like you're being recorded. And you shouldn't have to act different off camera than on camera. If you're having to act different on camera than off camera, then you probably shouldn't be running for office.
Yeah, and I mean, we should expect it from our policing authorities more than any other group, because they're wielding the law more than any other group, with lethal consequences potentially. So we certainly should expect it from our policing authorities in Fort Bend.
And Texas gives a lot of freedom to law enforcement officers. You can go to jail for anything in the law book in the state of Texas.
Well,
except for speeding, open container, and texting and driving. Outside of that, you can go to jail for anything in Texas.
And I think the other thing is that largely most of our governmental entities and organizations are humble and transparent. So when we find one like in Fort Bend that's not in that way, and they're failing these audits, I think that we have something to be concerned about. But with that being said, let's shift the focus to Harris County. An even bigger hurdle to climb, Harris County. And with that being said, I think that we're in a pivotal moment in Harris County, because it is still a Democrat stronghold, let's be honest. But the truth is, at the same time, the Democrats are a wounded animal. They're well entrenched. They're formidable as the day is long. But they, at the same time, are a wounded animal. They are not on offense anymore. I look at them sort of in a defensive mode, a defensive posture. And that really brings opportunity. Our finances in Harris County have gone through the floor. It's a bottomless pit. It is a cataclysmic situation right now in Harris County, and we really need astute leaders, private citizens, to step up and take the reins of this county and lead us into prosperity again. It's a desperate situation. And with that being said, Warren, tell me first and foremost, what is the state of your campaign And what are our chances of actually taking back Harris County and with the judge position and making it red?
They're good. Frankly, if all the Republicans would go out and vote and not sit at home expecting others to do the job for them, we are actually more red than you know. We really are. The government that we have, of course, is bad, and you get nothing good from a bad government. I mean, March 19th, when I testified in front of Commissioner's Court, I witnessed one of the worst weeks in Harris County history. These people, not only did they misappropriate over $128 million of your money, but they pulled out an office for a union person to hold and consult with all of our county employees. This was a trick to bring in unions to Harris County, to our employees who are well paid. They have a retirement program that is unsustainable. And these people, I mean, even Tom Ramsey is scratching his head because this just came out of the blue that they wanted to create this office. And you should have seen all of the union people testifying one after another. Some weren't even signed up, but Rodney Ellis was running the show because Lena was in Europe, hopefully Ukraine. But it was so biased. Apparently, Rodney Ellis wanted this to happen. So if you wanted to speak in favor of it, they let you speak, even if you weren't registered. But those, and there was only two of us who spoke against it, Barbara Denson and myself. And we were given 60 seconds, and believe you me, the mic went off at 60 seconds. These people they're confused. This is not Chicago. It's not New York, and it sure as hell isn't California. But right now, the way our government is no better than Chicago. It's no better than New York. It's no better than Los Angeles. And that is crazy. And that's what we're running against, crazies. That's why I think we have a chance in November. No matter who gets the nomination, we have a chance in November because it's going to be common horse sense versus crazy. And have you had enough? Have you had enough?
We're going to go to this. We're going to get into this $128 million of misappropriations in Harris County. But before we do that, we're going to go to a bit of good news, which is the X39 patch, the LifeWave X39 patch. This patch is the most amazing medical technology. If you get near me in my presence, I will be telling you about this. This patch is incredible. It's the LifeWave X39 patch. And what it is, it's a patch here that you wear. I'm wearing mine on my wrist right now. You wear it 12 hours a day and then take it off and put it back on the next day, 12 hours a day. And the effects that it has on the body is incredible. It's photolight therapy. And essentially what it does, it's photolight therapy. It emits light. It directs light into your body, which triggers what is known as the copper peptide. And the copper peptide is the most dominant peptide. It controls the most functions, and it controls the most functions with regard to aging. It triggers that copper peptide, and then it wakes dormant stem cells. And we all have stem cells in us, but because we're older people, those stem cells have gone to sleep. This wakes them back up, and you may feel the effects in a minute, literally in a minute. I felt the effects within 4 days. My energy levels were through the roof. My clarity, my focus, I lost all the brain fog. And then the physical issues on my body. I'm 54 years old. I do Olympic wrestling, not for the Olympics, but for a certain league. I do Olympic wrestling, and my body, I have no aches or pains at night. And you know, I do a pretty rigorous sport. I have no aches or pains in my body. I could go on and on about this patch, but the bigger thing about this patch is that and I'm going to say this, you won't believe it, it reverses age. I'm going to say it again. The patch reverses age. And it's not, what I mean by that, it's not anti-aging. What is anti-aging? Aging means that you continue to age, but you just look less old as you age. It doesn't do that. It reverses age. If you're 54, it takes you to 53. It reverses age. Hard to believe. All clinical trials are done. All patents are registered. It is a bona fide fact that it reverses age. And the clinical trials were done on the heart. And they took a number of participants and determined that over the course of 6 months with the usage of this patch, the age of the heart turned back by 8 years, by almost a decade. And the testimonials are incredible. The things that it's doing for people, helping with tinnitus, helping with lower back pain, helping with certain types of diabetes. I could go on and on and on. It's the X39 patch, and it's the most incredible patch. You got to try it. It's the price of a cup of coffee a day. It is not expensive. Most important point for the ladies out there, it will take the years off. It'll make you look younger, restore that beauty from your younger days. It's the X39 patch, and you can learn more by texting the word Patriot to 330-606-2304. Now back to business.
Probably need to get that myself.
It's incredible.
Is that why you look only a few years older than me?
I'm just going to say I think it's having an effect, but I don't want to talk about myself. But yeah, it's incredible what it does.
I drove 300 miles inside of Harris County just Saturday, did 5 talks, and at the end of at the time, I was pretty whipped. I was still okay, but you
wear this patch.
I'm no spring chicken.
Your effectiveness will go through the roof.
Wow.
And what happens is once you get on it, you realize getting off of it's like a prison sentence.
Wow.
So it releases you from a prison sentence that you don't know you're being held under. It's an incredible technology, but the more important thing is it goes right to your heart and strengthens your heart. And I mean, we're all getting there. We want to live longer. We want to live better. And it's a bona fide fact what it does. I could go on and on talking about it. The man who discovered the technology, he was studying age-reversing technologies before anyone else was, and he cracked the code on stem cells. And so here we are today talking about the X39 patch. I am the X39 guy for Fort Bend and Harris County, so come to me for your X39 patch.
There you go.
Okay, $128 million misappropriated in Harris County. We're not going to let this go off as a bullet point.
Yeah.
What in the world happened with $128 million misappropriated in Harris County?
Easy math. $40 million went to the LaSalle for-profit corporation in Louisiana for us to ship inmates from Texas to Louisiana because we can't board them here. We don't have the jail space. Why not use the $40 million to increase our jail space and correct the problem here so we're not shipping inmates to Louisiana?
Why are we sending $40 million to this LaSalle corporation to ship inmates to Louisiana? Why? What's the justification behind that?
I don't know. In my mind, there is no justification for it. None. It is crazy. But we're being run by Democrats, and nothing they do makes sense. It's just not common horse sense to spend $40 million when you could use that money. There's many, many commercial buildings not being used right now, right here in Harris County, that we could convert to low-security prisons if we needed to. It's all out there, and it's a complete waste of money.
Is there a quality issue with regard to the treatment of our inmates as we send them to Louisiana?
We lost 2, I think, last year in Louisiana.
Well, the law enforcement licensing standards in Louisiana are lower than Texas.
Yeah.
For across the board for jailers, telecommunication, and peace officers.
I mean, there's no question our jails need to be revamped.
As I understand, we lost 2 inmates in Louisiana, and we had no explanation on why these people passed away, correct?
It's still under investigation, as far as I understand. I think they determined 1, but I'm not clear on what the final disposition of that was.
And do we know the conditions that the inmates are living under in Louisiana or anything?
It's supposed to be better, but apparently it's not. It's just that they're making a profit. And how much, I don't know. But I know one thing, that was $40 million that we should have used to improve our jails here.
There's one point that needs to be made. All government audits stop at the point where the money is handed to the third party, to the non-governmental entity. So we can audit those funds until that point, and then we have no more audits.
Correct.
So if that money's coming back around and greasing the palms of whatever county bureaucrat, we don't know it. And there has to be a remedy for that. I think that governmental audits need to go one step further and cover those third-party entities, those private businesses that are contracting with the government.
The problem is that Harris County, we cannot trace all of the money. It is absolutely incredible how much is being wasted. We just went through a $200 million deficit. So what did they do? They cut back services that we did need. You know, we need to change the auditing department to have the ability to do a forensic audit on all the departments. We need to repurpose that department. And in doing so, we are going to find so much that it will boggle the imagination. Matter of fact, I want to have a show every Friday or Monday called The Good, Bad, and the Ugly. And we're going to discuss what went bad this week, what was ugly, and what went good. And we'll start off with the Clint Eastwood song, you know.
Yeah.
You know, it'll be good. But
The Outlaw Josie Wales.
that's it. Outlaw Josie Wales. There you go. But it's mind-boggling, and you have to ask, to whose benefit this money being wasted?
When you hear that county services, essential county services that should be coming to the constituents, are being removed while this bloating, while our money's going into some unforeseen situation, we don't know where it's going into a black hole, you have to question intentions, you have to question motives.
You have to. 88 million was the other part of that 128 million for solar panels.
$128 million misappropriated, and $88 million goes to solar panels.
And brought to us by the Department of Administration, which we shouldn't even have.
So our county residents paid for $88 million in solar panels.
Was it purchased
They
under?
will.
Was it bond spending or straight general?
Just straight general.
Oh gosh,
It's crazy. These people are crazy. The Department of Administration, we did not have that for 185 years. In 2021, they built it, had a $2 million budget. Today, the budget is well over $30 million, and now we got $88 million in solar panels. So I don't know what the heck the budget is now. I mean, it's gone nuts. And the leader is Sheila Jackson Lee's daughter, just newly appointed, over $400,000 a year in salary, which is twice what commissioners make. Twice. That's how nuts it is.
Okay, so everyone needs to go study the salaries of your county officials in Harris County. They are insane, off the record.
Yeah, well,
$200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 salaries of these elected officials. But the point, okay, the Harris County residents, who most of them are having a hard time making ends meet, just spent $88 million on a worthless technology. A worthless technology.
Absolutely.
Solar panels, they're nice. They're good for, lining your sidewalks with lights. They are not an industrial-powered use of provider of energy, generator of energy. They're not that.
It's my understanding, too, that under the ground, under these solar panels, is not useful for like 20 years after you remove the solar panels because of the cleansing agents and the maintenance that you have to do to keep these panels working. So what a mess.
So destroy more Texas agriculture.
Yeah, just like those windmills. Exactly.
Yeah.
And maybe worse.
Well, we had on the railroad commissioner, we had Wayne Christensen on, Texas Railroad Commissioner, and he explained how foreign entities are steering our investments in energy use towards non-efficient technologies, towards wasteful technologies like solar and wind. It's foreign entities that are getting Texans jacked up on these worthless technologies and making us vulnerable in all sorts of ways. That's just simply sprinkling from the state level down to the county level.
Yeah.
Well, it goes back to the landman statement. There ain't nothing clean about this. It's not clean energy. It's alternative energy. And if Exxon thought that those windmills and solar panels were the next biggest thing, all of the oil fields would be nothing but solar panels and windmills.
It's true.
Okay, I want to make a point here. Warren mentioned that there is a new governmental department. It is called the Administration Department, I believe.
Department of Administration.
The Department of Administration has a $20 million budget.
30 now.
$30 million budget. This department never existed until the Texas Democrats got a hold of Harris County administration. And this department, the sole purpose of it is to essentially serve the county commissioners. That's all it does. It's their workhorse.
See, face value, it sounds like...
You remember me telling you about the department that started out with 200 employees, and everything was going fine, everybody's working hard, and then they started adding employees and diluting the functions, and finally, at 500 employees, they can't get anything done. The person running it that had been there for 34 years left that department. Now, think about it. That is exactly what they're doing with the Department of Administration. They're expanding our government to be less efficient and more costly.
More bureaucratic.
When they should be working to get our government smaller, more efficient, and less costly.
See, that grinds my gears because I want less government, small government, where people have more of a say. Just the term Department of Administration sounds like
Soviet.
It sounds like like the most bureaucratic entity that you can encounter, like worse than the driver's license office.
It sounds Soviet, comrade.
We had a flow chart.
So
there's
good,
a county judge, and then underneath it was the commissioners, and then over here to the side are the elected. Well, now between the commissioners and the county judge is the county administrator.
So now it's another bureaucratic step in order for a commissioner to get to a county judge in order to get something passed and do the right thing.
The first thing that's going to go in January, if I'm elected, is the Department of Administration. And I suggest to Sheila Jackson Lee's daughter, do not buy that new house. Do not get that Bentley just yet. I would wait until after January of 2027.
Okay, we got a very big piece of news that could be catastrophic for Harris County. And it is right now there is an effort to unionize each and every employee of the county. I'm not referring to police or fire, which is a whole different story.
Completely different.
I mean everyone who digs a ditch or passes a piece of paper or any function at all, drives a truck, unionize them all. I'm from a union town back in Ohio. And when the unions get hold, the citizens lose their ability to control their government. The bureaucratic monster sort of takes over, and this is very disturbing.
I've talked to many employees in Harris County about this. None of them want to pay union dues. They are satisfied with how they're being paid. I've not met any one person yet that's not satisfied with his compensation. And so to bring this in is completely useless.
So first, tell us what is the proposal?
The proposal is that this entity, this position, this one person they're going to hire, which you know they're going to have a staff. It's not going to stop at one person, does it? And they're going to be there to consult with all the employees. Then they'll send out a memorandum to all the employees that this office exists. Come talk to them about being a member of a labor union or whatever it is that you might have concerns about. It is a trick to unionize the entire county, and don't fall for it, folks.
Who's pushing this agenda?
Rodney Ellis is pushing it. He brought it just like he's the architect of that ridiculous redistricting. He's the architect of everything bad in Harris County at this point. And I would say that to his face.
How does he benefit from this agenda?
Man, we're trying to figure it out. I mean, he does have $7 million in his war chest. Where'd that come from? A commissioner with $7 million.
Well, ours are all in the million range.
I mean, it's crazy.
Well, I think that's an indication of the level of spending that's under our county officials' hands right now. These numbers, 7 million, that's I don't even think a U.S. senator should have that much money in their war chest.
I don't know how the heck you could spend $7 million on a campaign.
Well, he's offering $100,000 to minority candidates to run for office, and he's just giving out, you can use your campaign funds to finance other campaigns. So he's doing that to further promote other politicians.
Well, I had an old Texas Ranger tell me if you want to find government corruption, just follow the money trail.
Yeah.
Whoever's donating that money, cross-reference that to the vendor list for the county, and that's how
he's paying his own chief of staff more than $400,000 a year. I submit that job is worth about $75,000. So where is the $325,000 plus dollars going? Is it really being kept? Is it really being kept by the chief of staff, or is it being channeled to some LLC in Switzerland or who knows where?
So he's paying an additional $75,000 out of his campaign account to his chief of staff. That's county.
Taxpayers are paying the $400,000. What they do is they create a budget, and they estimate what they think they're going to spend on projects, and then they have fixed costs. One of the big changes I'm going to make is that the budget you submit is for fixed, agreed upon cost. Everything else stays in the general fund. And when you submit an agenda item and it has a dollar sign next to it, it'll be coming out of the general fund, not out of the department. That's going to be a huge change. It's going to save us $500 to $600 million when all the dust settles. No more estimates. No more guesses.
Okay, I got a bullet point here from our discussion. Warren, you mentioned there's an effort to create a bloated bureaucracy that they started destroying in 2018. What does that mean?
That means just what we've been talking about. Mm-hmm. They've increased the amount of employees we need. They've decreased the efficiency of each department. They've more than doubled our cost. But here's the problem. Even if you double our cost, that's not our $500 or $600 million. It's the decisions they make for everything else combined with this inefficient government that creates this horrible waste of money. But we can't have a good police force. We can't have jails like we want them. We can't have streets that you can drive on and not damage your car. We don't have the proper flood control that we need. We can't have anything because they are so wrapped up in this bloated government and operating this bureaucracy and enjoying life, and the heck with the taxpayers. So when I said I was going to run the agenda, I'll guarantee you anything in the agenda that doesn't benefit the taxpayer is going to be put out for further discussion.
Are you going to do trips to Hawaii, Warren?
That's another thing. In last week, they earmarked over $600,000 for foreign trips, or not foreign trips, but just trips to conventions and meetings for various department people all over the place. The average cost was $1,335 per night. So they're staying in nice.
In general, what we see in both Harris County to a large extent, Fort Bend County, and to a rapidly growing extent, is essentially what the county officials are doing is they're attempting to attain the ability to commandeer more money and at the same time make your government operations be incredibly confusing so they can direct those funds anywhere that they want and you never even know what questions to ask. That's the whole purpose. And what Warren and Adam are proposing is to simplify government. And by simplifying government, it's like the cross to a vampire. It's that equivalent to a county official because it takes away all of their ability to have inappropriate influence over county operations and potentially to be being rewarded on the backside. That's my
Would you like some good news?
Yeah, please. Mm-hmm.
Good news. As bad as it is, in 90 days, we'll have a bunch of it fixed. We'll have so much done, it'll amaze you, because with the power of the agenda and power of running Commissioner's Court correctly, and by many motions and some law changes, I'll be in Austin quite a bit to change the law for many things. In 90 days, you will not recognize your Harris County government. It'll be that fast.
And one of the things that you said, Warren, is that you have an idea that that would change the Commissioner's Court immediately. It would change direction of Harris County right off the bat. Can you explain what that is?
Yes. These agendas, as I mentioned before, the Office of Management and Budget puts the agenda together. Then, once that agenda hits Commissioner's Court, county judge, if he or she is there, can run the agenda. When they run the agenda, they can then pick and choose what we're really going to vote on. And what we're not going to vote on is going to be thrown to further discussion. That's later meetings, later court deals, and we will keep doing that until my agenda, which will always be sitting front and center of all commissioners, is met. Just that simple. And it'll be just that fast. The first Commissioner's Court will already make a difference. Just the first day of court.
Well, you touched on something very important, being in Austin, changing laws. That's a massive part of county governance and really
well,
any...
See, here's the thing. All these changes we make, you've got to codify them. Because believe it or not, I will not be there forever. I will not live forever.
And in my race,
Get you the X-39.
I know. I know. Maybe that'll help.
Well, Warren, in my race, I'm the only candidate, both Democrat and Republican side, that has those relationships in Austin in both the House and the Senate, and has those relationships with TxDOT.
Important.
And you can't effectively be a good county commissioner or county judge without those relationships and being able to, if you're stuck on a highway project and you happen to have, you're not a TxDOT engineer, or we're not TxDOT engineers. If you happen to have a relationship with TxDOT and you've got this problem that seems like it's impossible to solve, one phone call, oh yeah, that's easy. Do this, 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 and this. And oh, by the way, go to the House and you get this passed, then all of a sudden you can now free up that particular project. And that's very, very important to have going into this role, because the two elected officials that can directly affect your life the most is a school board trustee and a county commissioner or county judge in the state of Texas.
And that's why I have relationships with many House representatives, senators, and I know that once I'm the judge, they'll give me the time, the respect, and the effort to make these changes. It's not hard, but it takes a lot of work.
Right, and trust. And trust among other elected officials.
Sure.
Everybody's walking in eggshells in this world.
I'm not walking on eggshells.
I ain't either.
Yeah, if you saw me at Commissioner's Court, they knew I wasn't walking. And I can't wait to get this done, though. It's been bugging me for 5 years. And I'm finally in a position where we can win this thing. We have the right team. We have the right resources. We've got the right slates and voter guides. We've got the right endorsements. I don't care about traditional political endorsements. They do not work.
Exactly. I agree.
And everybody that was endorsed by Abbott, I don't think it worked. And I'm not picking on Governor Abbott. I'm going to need him. So, and if you're listening, I'm going to need you. But it's important to know, finally, that to me, because I invested a tremendous amount of my own money to get where I'm at, but it's worth it. It's all worth it. I love Harris County. Harris County can be the best place to live, work, own a business, raise a family. All we need is a few common sense from the private sector business people to get involved with our government and run it like a business and not like social hour.
Well, Warren, were there any bullet points that I didn't ask you about that I didn't hit tonight?
Oh, we could keep talking. We could keep going. I want to fix these streets so bad. And the money will be available real quick to do that. And we've got some horrible streets out there. On my own car, every shot cost $1,000. So your maintenance is terrible. Here's something else I want to tell you. The Harris County Toll Road Authority is collecting $900 million a year, plus or minus, and their surplus is plus or minus $300 million a year. Everybody's been trying to get their grubby little hands on that money. We're going to see the surplus go back to the people using the toll roads. So immediately, the first month in office, we're going to cut the toll road fees by at least 30%. Then when we make things more efficient, get rid of those $250,000 wreckers we don't need and call JB Wrecker Service for $100 to move a car off the freeway. When we get it all straightened out, make it more efficient, probably 40 to 50% will be the final results. And there's people going to work that can't afford $300 and $400 a month in toll road fees to go to work. That's another car payment, for crying out loud.
The tolls are insane.
And it's ridiculous. You always have, and the thing that was so bad, when they first built the toll roads, they said, once they're paid for, they'll be free. That is impossible. When you build a road, you have MRI, you have maintenance, repair, and improvements. You will always have that when you build a road. So that was a very bad thing for whoever said it to say. But we'll get it down to where it's affordable and makes sense.
Well, that's why my generation and the generation below mine don't believe anything the government says. I'll believe it when I see it. You know,
it's amazing. It'll be a breath of fresh air to have some common sense in government and people on the microphone telling you the way it is without any political rhetoric that means nothing.
Well, Warren, a lot of elected officials have solidified their seat based on this is such a complex seat that I'm the only one who knows the complexity and can handle the complexity for this job, and it's simply not true. It's simply not true. If you have a basic business mindset, you can be with common sense, you can be an effective leader to your community.
Absolute. So, folks, when you're voting for people, instead of worrying about electability, worry about what they're going to do. Worry about what they're going to fix. What's the plan? Worry about all of that. We'll get Harris County fixed to where someday you can go back to the traditional, oh, I like this lady, or oh, I like this Hispanic, or oh, I like this person because of his religion. But right now, we don't have that option. We are in a position where right now we have got to fix things or your property taxes are going to go through the roof because you'll never be able to throw enough money at this bad government, ever.
And the property taxes will go up, which will create an exodus, which makes it just a problem that compounds on top of it.
And better yet,
make it another New York.
Or in Fort Bend County. My age has been taxed out of Fort Bend County. Folks Warren's age, who's, no offense, Warren, old enough to be my daddy, but I'm fortunate enough to be able to live 39? In the same. But I'm fortunate enough to be able to live in the same county as my parents. However, nobody else, none of my parents' friends whose kids are my age also are able to buy a home in Fort Bend County. It is, I pay $1,000 a month of property taxes to live in Fort Bend County. And it's ridiculous. And Gen Z, good luck ever buying in Fort Bend County without getting a guy like me on the commissioner's court.
Just think, if we had a good government federally and statewide and countywide, your taxes would be almost nothing. You'd be giddy to pay your taxes because they would be nothing. If they actually did what they were supposed to do from top to bottom, it would be an incredible savings to everyone.
Right, and the default in Texas over the last 15 years seems to be, well, instead of dealing with this problem, let's just create another taxable entity. Let's create an emergency services district. Let's create a lid district for your levies on top of your mud district, on top of your school district, and all of these taxes when they get combined together, it's $1,000 a month.
Yeah. Yeah, Harris County has 33 ESDs. 10 are for...
What is an ESD?
An
ESD
emergency
is
service.
Emergency Service District.
And what are those?
We have 7 they have 7 of them are for fire only. 10 of them are medical, and then I think another 6 are both combination medical and fire. And that's it. And they have their own governance, and they are able to tax, as well.
And they actually collect the majority of sales tax within the...
Exactly.
Yeah, they collect the majority of sales tax, and then your school district takes up the rest of that. And by the time it gets to the county and municipality, it's
right.
I think it's like 0.25 of a cent or something like that. But I mean, when you've got entity upon entity upon entity, all the elected officials will sit there and go, "Oh no, our tax rate is low. Our tax rate is low," but that taxing entity is only covering a small part of what the government services are.
Anyway, I can't reiterate enough. Traditional politics needs to be put on hold. We've got to get to business and fix our government. We've got to do it.
Because your kids will never be able to live near you.
Correct.
Well, gentlemen, it's been a great hour. I really appreciate you filling in all the information on both Harris County and Fort Bend counties. Again, a very pivotal time. We are in the Republican primary runoff races. Both of these men are in primary runoffs. And Warren, where do we learn more about you and your campaign?
My website is howellforharriscounty.com. And we have, you just push on donations if you can afford to do so. And we also need help with volunteers. We've got about 60 right now. We need about 160.
And when is the election?
Election is May 26th. Early voting starts May 18th through the 22nd.
And Adam, tell us where we can learn more about your campaign.
If you Google my name, you'll find all kinds of articles, a website, fortbendforadam.com, and then, of course, Facebook. Feel free to add me. And then also my direct line contact is 832-344-6715. Please reach out if you're able to volunteer or want to get involved. This is doable. Precinct 4 is the largest swing voting precinct in Fort Bend County, and I'm of the right age. I'm of the right the right social groups. The largest amount of people in the average voting age in Precinct 4 is about 34, 35, right, which is right at my age, and I can really speak to those folks. And let's go ahead and make Fort Bend affordable.
Great. Well, thank you both, and appreciate your time. And this is Chris Heasley with the Chris Heasley Radio Show. We will be back next week with one more hot topic. Have a great week.
Good.
A Mike Kahn presentation. Coming to you from Radio DeBang, the North America's premier broadcasting network.